Of course, all the debates about whether he lightened his skin tone in later years, but in those early days, yeah, I don't think that they were seen either here or in Europe, where I was at the time, as a black family. They were just a supremely gifted family, and he was perhaps the most supremely gifted of them. I want to also come back, Shep, to the talk of the concerts that he was coming up to in London. The few dates that were moved, it was only actually a few. They still had the opening date scheduled for July 13th, just a week or so, a little more than a week away now, 2 weeks, and he was apparently, according to Jerry Greenberg, going ahead with those. And despite the reporting that he may not have hired choreographers, etc., I am told by Jerry Greenberg that he, in the last few days, has actually been rehearsing for those shows. That's why he was in Los Angeles. He was at the Staples Center there, an arena deemed to be very similar to the O2 Arena in London, and they were actually going through rehearsals. So according to Jerry Greenberg, he was looking forward to resurrecting his performing career, and was looking forward to this like he had not looked forward to anything for many, many years. So all the reporting I'm getting from LA is that he was going full steam ahead, and while they had moved a couple of the early dates, mainly because of difficulties with the stage itself rather than anything with Jackson, he was planning on starting those concerts July 13th, Shep.
July 13th of next year. They put them off 1 year.
No, July 13th this year, Shep. Absolutely, it's this year. They put off a couple of the early shows to March next year, but the first ones were to start on July 13th of this year, 2009.
Well, for viewers who may just be joining us, it is 3:45 in Los Angeles, and 30 minutes ago, Michael Jackson was pronounced dead at a hospital there. He had gone into full cardiac arrest and stopped breathing at the home where he was staying, we're told. The authorities arrived, the emergency medical technicians arrived some 10 minutes after the call. He got to the hospital, was said to be in a deep coma, and about, just about 2.5 hours later, he was pronounced dead, 3:15 Pacific Daylight Time. His health, the history on his health is long and sordid. It was 1984 that Michael Jackson was burned by fireworks when he was making a Pepsi commercial. It was on stage at this Pepsi commercial. They had live fireworks and pyrotechnics as well, and his skin was said to have been burned quite badly, and it was that to which he attributed a lot of his skin troubles, that and some severe vitiligo, though the rumors were persistent that he had had significant plastic surgery over the years. In 1993, Michael Jackson told Oprah that he had a skin disorder that destroys pigmentation. We were later told that that was vitiligo. In 95, he was hospitalized after he collapsed at the Beacon Theater in New York. That was said to have been from exhaustion and overexertion. And then in 2002, he showed up at the civil trial, at his civil trial appearance in crutches. He said his foot was swollen from a spider bite, and I remember it distinctly. Seeing Michael Jackson on crutches had everyone wondering if he was trying to get a delay or what he was doing, but he said he had had a spider bite and he fully recovered. Jackson was admitted in a TV interview to having 2 plastic surgeries. That was in the year 2003. But he never went any farther than that, saying 2 is how many he had, and that they were not for cosmetic reasons, but for health reasons. And then, on February 15th of 2005, he was hospitalized with a flu-like illness. Shortly thereafter, in the middle of March, he showed up to court after reportedly suffering from back pain, and there were persistent rumors that he had been taking a number of pain medications, which left him looking differently than he had in the past. Very much sort of out of it, to hear it from observers at the time, just a few short years ago. And then in June, early June of 2005, he sought treatment for dehydration at a hospital. Clearly, his health was deteriorating, at least at that time. And 3 days later, he was treated at an emergency room for what the spokesman described as a continuing back problem. So it was all building even then. And then just 5 days later, he returned to a hospital for a follow-up treatment for those back problems, which leads us to today. There were rumors, and just rumors, that he had been fighting skin cancer, and that was the reason that some of this concert was going to have to be delayed. There were further rumors that for many years that he had some heart problems that had to do with medication that he had taken, which had exacerbated those problems. This is a live look outside the hospital, where the UCLA Medical Center, where friends and family have gathered inside, and a lot of people who are just curious and big fans of his, I'm quite sure, and some members of the news media have gathered as well. Our Adam Housley is out among them. Adam?
Yeah, Shepard, it's a bit chaotic out here, as you might imagine. People are gathering from all over. We're in the middle of a college area here in Los Angeles, and you got people driving by, blaring Michael Jackson music, men on motorcycles. You know, some of the same stuff we saw at the trial, and a very odd irony to this whole thing. We have been confirmed now Deborah Opry is saying, of course, we had the confirmation a half an hour ago, but, you know, now everybody's coming out and saying that Michael Jackson has passed. We do know Elizabeth Taylor was rushed here to say her goodbyes. We believe she's now on site to do that. When we first got the call that Michael Jackson was rushed to the hospital, our friends at the Los Angeles Police Department were telling us that it was extremely grave, that they were administering CPR once they got him into the ambulance, that it didn't look good. And some of the same people that are close to Michael Jackson here in Los Angeles that we hear from periodically have said that while he prepared for this concert, his health still wasn't as strong as it could be, and as strong as it could have been. We saw that, of course, during the trial, Shepard. We talked about that many times on your shows. Here right now, the press conference is being set up on one side of the medical center. On the other side, you've got where the family's going in and out. It is quite a scene out here. Some crews that have come here, that are stationed here in Los Angeles from all over the world, have now come out here. Japanese television crews, of course, all the American crews are here. It's just become quite a scene now with, you know, the ability to videotape on cell phones and all the others. You've got a mass of students, even people in the hospital that come out. And in the middle of all this, Shepard, someone pulled a fire alarm in the hospital, and they had to evacuate people out of it. So it has been already chaos here at UCLA, and we've only been here for, 45 minutes or so. And we expect to hear something soon. At this point, we don't know who is going to speak. They say that someone will come out and talk to us once the family has had the chance to say their goodbyes and once the family has approved of what is to be said. But that has to be done through the family. And at this point, as far as I've been told, it has not yet been done, Shepard. So it's begun. It's a bit of a scene. Continue this way, as literally it is a traffic jam in this part of Los Angeles. And officers among the crowd, and more seem to be arriving every minute as we speak, Shepard.
Adam Housley outside the hospital in Los Angeles where Michael Jackson has been pronounced dead. We're waiting to find out who will be coming out to speak. We do know that his father, Joe Jackson, spoke with the website TMZ earlier this afternoon after Michael Jackson was taken to the hospital and before we really knew much of anything else. Michael Jackson's father, Joe Jackson, told TMZ he's not doing well. We know that he was headed to that Joe Jackson was headed to the hospital, and we anticipate that someone in the Jackson family will most likely be speaking sometime soon. What a very difficult life for an incredibly talented man. Michael Jackson dead tonight at the age of 50. You know, during this time, it is entirely possible that we might have been talking about the late, great Farrah Fawcett. Farrah Fawcett of Charlie's Angels fame and near and dear to the hearts of little boys in the 70s, died this morning, finally succumbed to the cancer that she had fought so valiantly for quite a long time. In 2007, we thought maybe she had beaten it and she was coming back, but later learned it had spread to her liver, multiple tumors there. She endured a very difficult chemotherapy and difficult recovery. And then in recent days, her health deteriorated, and her longtime friend and father of her child, Ryan O'Neal, was there with her, along with the rest of her family, as Farrah Fawcett died this morning. And I know it's just coincidence, and I know these things don't really come in threes, but now Michael Jackson has passed away at the age of 50. The pop star of the world, the little boy who dazzled us all on stage, beginning with the Ed Sullivan Show and then with the Jackson 5. Man alive. He was born in August 29th of 1958, born in Gary, Indiana, the 7th of 9 children. In 63, after years of training, the Jackson 5 began to perform in public. And then it was 1969, your anchor was 4 at the time, that he appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show and danced and sang and entertained in a way so few had ever seen. And then in 1970, their first album, Diana Ross Presents the Jackson 5, included a hit single called I Want You Back and I'll Be There, each of which went to #1. In 1972, while still singing with the Jackson 5, Michael Jackson put out his first solo album. It was called Got to Be There. And in 1979, his first adult solo album was, all together now, Off the Wall. it was released, and he became the first solo artist to place 4 singles from the same album in the top 10. In the days when vinyl was king, Michael Jackson was king of vinyl. In 1982, the album Thriller won a record 8 Grammys, not Grammy nominations, won a record 8 Grammys, and became one of the biggest sellers of all time, sold 26 million copies. And along with the title track, it includes the songs Billie Jean and Beat It. That was 1982, and as I mentioned, if memory serves, they played it on MTV, that brand new funny network MTV, that all the kids in Holly Springs who had just gotten cable television finally were able to sit around and watch. I believe that the song was about 8.5 minutes, but I'm talking right off the top of my head, and they played it right at the top of the hour, right at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock in Holly Springs at the time, and Thriller was with us.